was a year when operatives from the other side of the globe would be implicated in news events right here in BC. The shooting death of the leader of the Guru Nanak Gurdwara was immediately blamed on India by those at the temple.
It quickly became a topic on the floor of the House of Commons, with the Prime Minister acknowledging credible evidence that India was involved in the killing. As Aaron MacArthur reports, the story has taken many twists and turns.
June 18th, just as prayers were wrapping up, Surrey police officers called to the Guru Nanak Sikh Gurdwara. A man slumped over his steering wheel, murdered in broad daylight. Shock in the community and around the world. The victim, Hardeep Singh Nijjar, the president of the Gurdwara. Almost immediately, rumblings of Indian interference began swirling. Surveillance video of the murder, which was reported on by the Washington Post, shows an organized, targeted strike. A van blocking Nijjar's truck with multiple gunmen lying in wait. A plumber by trade, Nijjar was also well placed in the group Sikhs for Justice, and one of the lead organizers of a referendum for an independent Sikh state in India called Khalistan. For decades, India has accused the Canadian government of harboring extremists, labeling Sikhs for Justice a terrorist group, going so far as to issue an arrest warrant for Hardeep Singh Nijjar. It became clear in the days after the murder that the Canadian government knew Nijjar's life was in danger, telling journalists in the weeks before his death he was in contact with the RCMP. Law enforcement put under the microscope in September when the Prime Minister made a bombshell announcement.
Over the past number of weeks, Canadian security agencies have been actively pursuing credible allegations of a potential link between agents of the government of India and the killing of a Canadian citizen, Hardeep Singh Nijjar.
Thank you for joining us today.
The Indian government immediately denied the allegations, demanding an apology and initiating diplomatic retaliation. Visa services for Canadians were suspended, and diplomats were expelled from both countries. Despite strong demands of proof, the Prime Minister offered no evidence of the claims made. November brought vindication for the Prime Minister and validation for the Sikh community in Canada. U.S. prosecutors unsealing an indictment that alleges an Indian national took part in a murder-for-hire plot against the leader of Sikhs for Justice, Gurpatwant Singh Pannu. The indictment included the name of a suspect, an unnamed agent of the Indian government, and an alleged hitman who turned out to be an informant for the DEA. The indictment also included evidence that the plot was much wider, with one murder planned in the U.S. and 3 more in Canada. What began as random violence in Surrey morphed into an international firestorm.
To read now real conversations of agents of, assassination, it's like a movie playing out in front of us.
Based on the U.S. indictment, there appears to be significant wiretap evidence linking the crimes to Indian state agents.
The United States has done a lot of work. They've got a lot of information. They released court documents. They have somebody in custody, and they show this trail of money and information. So for us, it's a lot of validation that what we've been saying as a community is proving true.
It's been a little more than 5 months since Hardeep Singh Nijjar was killed, and in that time, the RCMP have had almost nothing to say. In a statement, the RCMP says it does not comment on ongoing or potential investigations.
Former CSIS administrators say it's unlikely the public will ever see more information from Canadian investigators.
And my suspicion is that the people who carried out the attack are probably long gone wherever they came from. So the likelihood of an ultimate prosecution seems pretty unlikely.
India has agreed to look into the new American allegations, but has been reluctant to move on Canada's claims. More information about this plot expected to be released in 2024. Aaron MacArthur, Global News.
A global news investigation this year uncovered alarming revelations about the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Negar Mojtahedi had the exclusive story of the regime intimidating and threatening some of the thousands of Iranians who live in Canada, and it got a lot of attention from Canada's top politicians.
How many Islamic Republic officials are enjoying freedom in Canada? You will be shocked.
World-renowned human rights activist Masih Alinejad is sharing this disturbing detail about Canada's national security.
They warned me that Canada is not safe. That's heartbreaking. The FBI told me that the same group who were trying to kidnap me on US soil, that were the same group from Revolutionary Guards in Iran trying to harass, kidnap, and kill Canadians.
A global news investigation uncovered shocking information about Iranian regime operatives threatening Canadians.
We have about 700 names.
This BC lawyer has been building a database on an alarming number of regime insiders operating on Canadian soil.
They knew, okay, once I embezzle, I can go to Canada and live a lavish life.
That reporting was shocking.
Our investigation caught the attention of federal politicians.
It's mind-blowing. Who would ever have thought 8 years ago that our allies would think Canada is too dangerous a place to go?
The report has a lot of people demanding Canada lists Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terrorist entity, like the U.S. did in 2019. We took that question to the Prime Minister.
Prime Minister, will you commit to listing the IRGC as a terrorist entity?
We will continue to do everything necessary, both to hold that regime to account, to limit its impact around the world, and to protect Canadians.
When we pressed for a simple yes or no on designating the IRGC a terrorist entity, my mic was turned off.
The IRGC is responsible for many human rights violations in Iran. They also shot down Ukraine Airlines Flight 752 in 2020, killing 55 Canadians and 30 permanent residents. Trudeau has yet to deliver on a promise to deal with them.
Canada is never again a haven for killers, murderers, and those responsible for the repression of Iranian people.
But that didn't deter this man from coming to Canada. He's a former senior minister with the regime, and he was spotted in Montreal in the background of a TV news report in August.
He was not an ordinary person. You see that he had a photo with Hassan Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah, which is a terrorist organization in this country.
On a Canadian vacation, he reportedly threatened this man, Hamid Esmailion.
It made me angry, actually, that why? He's here and he threatens everybody he wants.
His wife and daughter were killed in the downing of Flight 752, and the man who threatened him, part of the same administration that killed his family.
It was outrageous for the whole community.
And while there's been a lot of talk, this country remains a safe place for Iranian regime affiliates to intimidate Canadians.
Maybe you think that this is some problem with Iranians, let them deal with it. It's not. Islamic Republic is a threat to Canadians.
And while Canada has been welcoming to those regime officials, people like Hamid Esmailion, who came here to escape them, live in fear. Negar Moshahedi, Global News.
And that's our year in review for 2023. Many of these stories will have more chapters written in the new year.
And as always, at Global News, we'll be here to deliver those stories to you. And from all of us at Global BC, we wish you and yours all the best in 2024.